Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. There is something incredibly powerful and undeniable about a mother's love, something that runs so deep in our bones that it can make us do the most extraordinary things. We have all felt that fierce protective instinct over our children, that overwhelming desire to keep them safe from the harsh realities of the world. But my goodness, when we look at Nina Reeves and the path she is walking down right now, we are seeing a mother's love twist into something entirely unrecognizable. It is a devotion that has crossed the line from beautiful to downright dangerous. And I have to tell you, my heart just aches when I see how tangled up she has become. Nina has reached a point where there are absolutely no boundaries left, no moral lines she will not cross, all for the sake of her daughter Willow. It is a tragic situation that really makes you stop and wonder how far is too far when it comes to protecting the ones we hold dear. To truly understand the heavy burden Nina carries in her soul, we have to take a long, hard look in the rearview mirror at the unimaginable trauma she has survived. I want you to think about the ultimate betrayal a person could ever experience. Nina's own mother, Madeline, committed an act so vile and heartless that it still sends shivers down my spine just thinking about it. Madeline deliberately drugged her own pregnant daughter with an overdose of antidepressants, hoping to cause a miscarriage just so she could keep her husband's vast inheritance all to herself. Instead of a miscarriage, poor Nina was pushed into a deep, dark coma, losing years of her life while she slept unaware. While she was trapped in that slumber, she gave birth to twin girls, who were immediately stolen away and given up. Just imagine waking up after all that time, finding out your babies are gone, and your own mother is the monster who did it. It is the kind of deep, generational wound that never truly heals. That profound loss set the stage for the heartbreak that would follow with her first daughter, Nell. Bless her heart, Nell never stood a chance in this world. She had a childhood filled with sorrow, neglect, and hardship, which slowly poisoned her spirit and turned her into a woman who left a trail of destruction wherever she went. By the time Nina finally discovered the truth about her connection to Nell, it was simply too late to save her. Nell's tragic death left Nina with an ocean of guilt that threatens to drown her every single day. She carries the heavy weight of feeling like she failed her child, like she missed her one and only chance to be the mother Nell so desperately needed. That kind of guilt does terrible things to a person's mind. It creates a desperate, clawing need to make things right, a need that Nina has completely transferred onto her surviving daughter. Then came the absolute miracle of finding Willow. When Nina discovered that sweet, gentle Willow was her other twin daughter, it was as if the heavens had finally opened up and smiled down upon her. But life had not been kind to Willow either. She too suffered through a deeply troubling childhood, facing miseries and manipulations that no young girl should ever have to endure. Knowing what both of her daughters went through while she was absent has fueled a fire inside Nina that cannot be extinguished. She is absolutely terrified of history repeating itself. She looks at Willow and sees her second chance, her final opportunity to be the mother she was robbed of being. Because of this, Nina has made a silent, unbreakable vow to herself that she will never, ever lose Willow, no matter what it takes or what rules have to be broken. This desperation has led Nina down a very dark and troubling path, one where she has become the ultimate enabler for her daughter. We all watched as Willow went through the agonizing pain of her divorce and the incredibly toxic downward spiral of her relationship with Drew Kane. Through every tear and every poor decision, Nina stood right there by her side like a stone wall. But things took a horrifying turn when Willow crossed a line that nobody ever saw coming. The revelation that Willow actually shot Drew, causing him to suffer a massive stroke and subsequently keeping him in a state of captivity, was enough to make anyone's jaw drop to the floor. It was a moment that shattered the illusion of the sweet, innocent Willow we once knew, revealing a much darker, more desperate woman underneath. Yet despite the absolute horror of what Willow has done, Nina has not backed away for a single second. Most mothers would be absolutely paralyzed by the shock of their child committing such a violent crime, but not Nina. She barely even batted an eyelash. She has supported Willow through the resulting trials and tribulations, clinging to a blind belief in her daughter's innocence, or perhaps simply refusing to care about her guilt. Nina is caught between a rock and a hard place, but she has firmly planted her feet on Willow's side. Her fear of losing her only living child has completely overridden her moral compass. She is enabling behavior that is not only illegal but deeply immoral, all because she believes that keeping her daughter close is the only thing that matters in this world. Now, the situation is escalating into a full-blown nightmare, and the tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Drew Kane, who has been trapped in his own body due to the stroke, is slowly beginning to recover. He is starting to move, and the reality of his healing is sending shockwaves of panic through both Willow and Nina. Kai Taylor has already noticed Drew's returning mobility, and he is rightfully terrified about what Willow might do to keep her dark secrets buried. The walls are closing in, and the truth is threatening to break free from the shadows. Willow is losing her grip on the situation, and when a desperate person feels cornered, they are capable of doing the unthinkable. It breaks my heart to say this, but Willow appears to be contemplating the absolute worst. If all else fails, it seems she is actually willing to murder Drew to permanently silence him. Just let that sink in for a moment. This young woman, who has already caused so much pain, is now teetering on the edge of taking a human life just to save her own skin. And the most chilling part of all this is Nina's reaction. Instead of pulling her daughter back from the brink of this terrible abyss, Nina is ready to hand her the shovel. She has completely abandoned any sense of right and wrong, operating purely on the primal instinct to protect her cub at any cost. This brings us to the fascinating and deeply complex dynamic between Nina and Jack Brennan. Jack is a smart man, and he has been watching this entire situation unfold with a very careful eye. He has grown close to Nina, becoming her confidant and strategic partner, but even he had to question the sheer magnitude of her blind loyalty to Willow. He pushed her on it, likely expecting her to show some hesitation or remorse. Instead, Nina looked him dead in the eye and laid all her cards on the table. She made a chilling confession, stating plainly that she would support Willow no matter what she does, even if that means helping her commit murder. Nina made it crystal clear that keeping Willow safe and happy is her only priority, and she will cross any dangerous boundary to ensure that happens. Now, you would think a confession like that would send any sane man running for the hills, wouldn't you? Most folks would hear that a woman is willing to become an accomplice to murder and immediately call the police. But that is not what Jack Brennan did. In a moment that truly left me speechless, Jack responded to Nina's dark, twisted declaration of maternal devotion by leaning in and kissing her. My goodness, what a tangled web they are weaving. That kiss was not just a romantic gesture. It was a profound validation of the darkness inside Nina. It showed that Jack is not frightened by her dangerous edges, rather he is drawn to them. They are truly birds of a feather, two people who understand the dark lengths one will go to for loyalty and survival. It really makes you think about that old saying, blood is thicker than water. Nina is taking that old adage to a terrifying extreme. She is going out on a limb for her daughter, riding shotgun on a journey that seems destined to end in tragedy. By trying so hard to be the mother she never had, by trying to fix the mistakes of the past, Nina is ironically becoming a lot like her own mother, Madeline. She is using the trauma of her past as a justification for a deeply dangerous and destructive future. She believes that because they have suffered so much, they are somehow entitled to survive by any means necessary, even if it means destroying other people's lives in the process. As I sit here and ponder where all of this is heading, I cannot help but feel a deep sense of sorrow for everyone involved. Nina is playing with fire, and we all know that when you play with fire, you are bound to get burned. Her unwavering support might seem like the ultimate act of love in her own mind, but in reality, it is a poison that is slowly destroying both her and Willow. True love sometimes means telling the people we care about that they are wrong, holding them accountable, and helping them find a better path. But Nina is too blinded by her past grief to see the future disaster she is creating. We are watching a slow-motion train wreck, my friends. The secrets are too big to be swept under the rug forever. Drew is waking up, Kai is watching closely, and the fragile house of cards that Willow and Nina have built is trembling in the wind. How far will they truly go? Will Nina actually help her daughter take a life, crossing a line from which there is absolutely no return? And what role will Jack Brennan play in all of this now that he has seemingly accepted Nina's dark truth? These are the questions that keep us glued to our screens, waiting to see how this tragic tale of a mother's dangerous love will ultimately unfold.